All right, so welcome to the deep dive. Today we're diving into something truly unique, Kaoshikii dance.
Kośikii.
Yeah, Kaoshikii. Imagine like a practice that blends rhythmic movements with, this focused intention and claims all these benefits for a surprising number of health conditions.
Like what?
Oh, we're talking a lot.
Yeah.
Especially for women. It's
Oh, wow.
okay. Yeah, fascinating stuff.
So where are we getting all this from?
Well, our main source today is Kaoshikii dance, benefits, movements, and yogic principles.
That's promising.
It really dives deep into the origins and these wild claims of Kaoshikii.
Huh.
And get this, it was invented in 1978.
Hold on. 1978. But you said it's drawing on ancient yogic principles.
Right. That's what makes this so intriguing.
Okay, I'm hooked. Tell me more.
All right. So we're talking about 22 potential benefits here.
22? That's a lot.
It is, right. Easing childbirth, promoting regular menstruation, even boosting longevity. Like, wow.
Okay, color me skeptical but curious. Where does the ancient wisdom part come in if it's so modern?
Well, that's where the dance itself comes in. It's structured around 18 specific movements, each linked to a powerful affirmation. And they perform it all to this chant, Bábá nama kevalam.
Which means?
Only the name of the Supreme exists. So it's like a physical mantra.
Interesting. It reminds me of yoga and tai chi, where focused movement and breath work have, proven benefits.
Exactly. So maybe there's something to this combination of movement and intention,
Yeah, maybe. But 22 benefits, that's a big claim.
Right. And the source gets into crazy specific details, like specific angles for the bends and even what color clothes to wear.
Really? Why so precise?
That's what I thought. Like, why does it matter?
Well, it seems like each detail, the angle, the color, is supposed to contribute to a specific, energetic effect.
Whoa. So it's like this whole meticulously designed system, like a
holistic approach.
Yes, to harmonize the body, mind, and spirit. I like that.
Me too. It definitely makes you think.
It does. And remember that longevity thing? Well, the source even suggests Kaoshikii can check the advent of old age.
Check the advent of old age. Bold statement.
Right. And while we're not saying, take this as gospel, it's interesting to think about how a dance, focusing on spinal flexibility and all that, could maybe play a role in a longer, healthier life.
I mean, it's definitely thought-provoking, though we'd need to see some, actual scientific validation to back up these claims.
Absolutely. But even the IDA, adding life to our years, not just years to our lives, that's pretty cool.
I agree. That's a concept we can all get behind. It's very much in line with the shift we're seeing towards preventative health care.
Right. It's like they envision this dance as a way to be proactive about our well-being, not just waiting for something to go wrong.
Exactly. Taking charge of our health.
All right, so we've got this dance, ancient roots, potentially paving the way for a future where we approach health and longevity totally differently. But before we get too ahead of ourselves, let's break it down a little. What actually happens in this dance?
Okay, so it starts with a namaskara, a traditional Indian greeting, then raising the arms overhead with hands folded, symbolizing, a connection to a higher power.
Okay, I love that. A physical, representation of that connection. Very cool. And then
the movement begins. The caller initiates the dance with these rhythmic chants, guiding everyone through the sequence.
Okay. So there's someone leading the way.
Yep. And picture this. You're bending side to side, first to the right, affirming, I know the right way to request you, then to the left, affirming, I know how to fulfill your demands.
Wow. Like a conversation through movement.
Right. It's this beautiful dialogue between the physical and the spiritual. And get this, throughout the dance, you keep your upper body straight, arms extended almost to your ears.
Sounds intense.
It emphasizes precision and control, aligning the physical with the mental, creating this inner harmony.
I can see that. So what about the bending forward and backward? Those must have some meaning too, right?
Of course. Bending forward symbolizes complete surrender, while bending backward represents the strength to face challenges.
Wow. It's like they choreograph the entire human experience.
Exactly. The ebb and flow, the balance between acceptance and resilience.
And it all ends with that powerful foot stomp, right?
Yeah, I got it. A powerful foot stomp affirming, oh Lord, I repeat your rhythm. Then they repeat the whole sequence, but this time with just the mantra, Bábá nama kevalam, instead of the caller's chants.
So layering those affirmations and intentions onto the movements, really embedding them,
Exactly. And it's interesting, right? Because this dance was specifically designed for women.
Oh, I didn't know that. Tell me more.
Well, it was envisioned by Shrii Anandamurtiji, a 20th century Indian philosopher. He saw it as a way to benefit women's well-being specifically, although men are welcome to practice it too, of course.
That's fascinating. His philosophy, his vision for this practice. Like, why create something just for women? What was he thinking?
Well, it seems Anandamurti saw this as a way to address the unique challenges and potentialities, I guess you could say, of women's bodies and minds.
Interesting. So he believed Kaoshikii could be this potent tool for both physical and spiritual health.
It seems that way. He saw it as a way for women to tap into their inner strength and radiance.
He even called it a panacea for almost all female diseases and a way to, remember, check the advent of old age.
Right. Those are some serious claims.
I know. Did he, say how this dance could do all that? Did he give any specifics?
The source material doesn't really dive into the mechanisms, but a lot of Anandamurti's teachings emphasize the connection between the physical, mental, and spiritual realms.
So maybe he saw Kaoshikii as a way to harmonize all three, leading to that balance and vitality, which could naturally result in better health and, a longer life.
That's a good possibility. It's not about targeting specific ailments, but creating that internal environment that supports overall well-being. A holistic approach, right?
Exactly. And that actually aligns with what we're learning today about how stress, lifestyle, mindset, all of that can impact our physical health.
Totally. It's all connected.
All right, so we have this dance, ancient yogic principles, infused with specific intentions, promising all these amazing benefits, especially for women. But where does science fit in? Can we actually measure the impact of something like this?
That's the million-dollar question. I mean, we have anecdotal evidence, personal stories, but we need hard science to really validate these claims, you know?
I agree. We need studies specifically looking at the effects on different health conditions, like measuring hormone levels, stress markers, all that.
Yeah, absolutely. And imagine if we could combine that with brain imaging.
Right.
You could see how Kaoshikii affects brain activity.
Whoa, yeah, we could literally see the impact of movement, chanting, intention on our neural pathways.
Right. We could see how it influences the brain's, what's it called? Neuroplasticity.
Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to adapt and change.
Yeah, that's it. It could totally change our understanding of how mind-body practices like this can enhance, everything. Cognitive function, overall well-being.
It's like a whole new frontier of health and wellness, just waiting to be explored. And Kaoshikii's leading the charge.
I love that. It's so exciting, this blend of ancient wisdom and cutting-edge science. It could revolutionize the way we approach health and longevity in the future.
Absolutely. And I, for one, want to hear more about those potential benefits. Like, the source mentioned some really interesting stuff, easing childbirth, reducing wrinkles even. But before we get into all that, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back with more on the fascinating world of Kaoshikii. Welcome back to the deep dive.
Where?
We're still exploring this Kaoshikii dance, this blend of rhythmic movement and intention with ancient roots. And we're talking about the potential for it to, maybe even revolutionize how we think about health and well-being.
It really is remarkable, right? Created just a few decades ago, but drawing on this age-old wisdom. It's like they captured this timeless desire to move and connect and heal, but packaged it for, the modern world.
And one thing that really struck me was how it connects physical and mental health.
Yeah.
Because so often in mainstream healthcare, those are treated as totally separate things.
Yeah, I know. It's like we forget they're totally intertwined. And Kaoshikii, it goes even further than that healthy mind, healthy body idea,
Oh, so.
By adding that spiritual dimension, it's not just about fitness or mental clarity. It's about aligning yourself with something, bigger.
Yeah.
Recognizing that our well-being has all these different facets that are totally connected.
And that really resonates with this whole trend towards holistic health. We're realizing it's not about compartmentalizing, but understanding that it's all interwoven. Our physical health impacts our mental and emotional states and vice versa.
Exactly. And when you add in that spiritual dimension, it brings a whole new depth to it.
So it's not just a dance, it's a whole philosophy.
Way of life almost.
And if we could really back up these anecdotal claims with solid scientific evidence.
Right. Imagine the impact.
I know. We could see a total shift in healthcare, in how we manage stress, even in how we relate to each other.
Absolutely. As we move further into this century with all its, complexities, practices like Kaoshikii could offer a path toward greater resilience, balance, inner peace.
That's like a toolkit for the future.
I like that.
And speaking of the future, let's get back to those benefits. We talked about easing childbirth and regulating menstruation. What else jumped out at you?
Well, that claim about increasing longevity is pretty fascinating. I mean, we all want to live longer, healthier lives, right?
For sure. And Kaoshikii seems to suggest a way to get there.
Right. Obviously, it's not, some magic bullet. But if it really does promote that overall well-being through, like you said, the spinal flexibility and glandular health and all that, it makes sense that it could contribute to a longer life. And not just longer, but a more, vibrant life.
Vibrant aging. I love that.
Too. It's not about just adding years, but adding, life to those years.
Exactly. Experiencing vitality at every stage of life.
And recognizing that aging is a natural process, not something to be scared of. It's about embracing each stage with energy and enthusiasm and continuing to grow and evolve.
And Koshi seems to target those things that tend to decline as we age. Mm-hmm. The spinal flexibility, the glandular health, the stress. It's like a holistic approach to aging gracefully.
Totally. And it fits right in with that trend towards preventative health care.
Empowers people to take charge of their health. Be proactive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Shifting from a reactive mindset to a proactive one.
And it's not just physical health either. The source also mentions benefits for mental and emotional well-being, like alleviating fear and helping people express themselves more freely.
And that connects back to the power of affirmations, right? A key part of Kaoshikii. It's like by consciously repeating these positive statements while you're moving your body, you're basically rewiring your mind.
It's a mental workout.
Totally. Strengthening your resilience, boosting your self-confidence, literally creating new neural pathways that support a, more positive outlook.
And then there's the chanting, too. The sound, the mantra, Bábá nama kevalam, repeated over and over. It must have an effect on a deeper level.
Oh, absolutely. Sound has this incredible power to impact our nervous systems. And that specific mantra, it can induce this state of deep relaxation, inner peace.
Like a moving meditation.
Exactly. Helping us to quiet the mind and connect with that stillness within ourselves.
It makes me think about how much we ignore the power of sound in our lives. Mm-hmm. We're constantly bombarded with noise and distractions, but Kaoshikii gives us a chance to tune into something more harmonious.
I love that. It's about reclaiming our inner peace through movement and sound, creating a little sanctuary within ourselves, especially in the middle of all the chaos of, daily life.
And that inner peace, it ripples outwards, right? It affects how we interact with others, how we deal with challenges, how we show up in the world.
Totally. Our inner state impacts everything around us. When we cultivate that inner harmony, it naturally radiates outward, creating a more harmonious environment for everyone.
Which brings us back to rhythm. You mentioned that earlier, how it's a key element of Kaoshikii. Mm-hmm. I'm curious to hear more about what you meant by that.
Well, think about it. The entire dance is synchronized to this specific rhythm,
right,
dictated by the caller's chants or the mantra. Every movement, every bend, every step is perfectly timed. And even beyond the physical rhythm, there's the mental rhythm created by those affirmations, that steady repetition. Ah, I see. It's about aligning our physical, mental, and even spiritual rhythms, creating that coherence, that flow.
Exactly. And it taps into something very fundamental about being human. Our bodies have natural rhythms, right? Our heartbeat, our breath, our sleep-wake cycles. Mm-hmm. And when we tune into those rhythms, when we move in sync with them, it's like magic happens.
We find that sweet spot where effortlessness and intention, come together.
And Kaoshikii, with its structure and intentional movements, it facilitates that flow state, like hitting a reset button on your nervous system, bringing you back into harmony.
Which is something we all need in this crazy, fast-paced, always-on world, right?
We're constantly rushing, multitasking, bombarded with information. It throws off our natural rhythms,
So Kaoshikii is like an antidote to all that.
Exactly. It's about slowing down, attuning to our inner rhythms, finding that balance we've kind of lost touch with.
It's like reclaiming a piece of ourselves.
And as we cultivate that inner harmony, it impacts everything. Our relationships, our communities, even our impact on the planet. Because it's all connected.
Exactly. Our well-being is intertwined with the well-being of the world around us.
So as we continue exploring Kaoshikii, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on how it could contribute to, a healthier, more harmonious future. What possibilities do you see?
Well, I think one of the most promising aspects is its potential to bridge that gap between ancient wisdom and modern science. We talked about the research on mind-body practices, and Kaoshikii is ripe for more exploration.
Imagine the breakthroughs if scientists really dedicated resources to studying it. The effects on different health conditions, we could unlock new ways to heal, to prevent disease, maybe even extend lifespan.
And it's not just about physical health, right? Kośikii also has potential to address mental and emotional well-being, which is like so crucial right now.
Especially with all the anxiety and depression and everything else that's on the rise, we need effective solutions.
I agree. And the focus on self-awareness and positive affirmations and stress reduction, it could be so valuable. Imagine if Kaoshikii was incorporated into schools, workplaces, community centers. We could create a culture of well-being where people are empowered to manage their mental and emotional health.
I love that vision.
Right. It fits with that movement towards holistic healthcare, treating the whole person, not just the symptoms.
And Kaoshikii is like a perfect embodiment of that, with its focus on the connection between body, mind, and spirit.
Exactly. It's like a blueprint for a more balanced, harmonious way of being.
And as we keep exploring it, we might uncover even more about its potential for ourselves and for, future generations.
It's truly exciting. It's a reminder that sometimes the most powerful solutions for our well-being are found in the simplest things, like moving our bodies with intention, connecting to something greater than ourselves.
Beautifully said. And on that note, we'll wrap up part 2 of our Kaoshikii deep dive. But don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the final part of our exploration. Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been exploring this amazing world of Kaoshikii, this dance practice that blends ancient wisdom with this futuristic vision of well-being. And now for this final part of our exploration, I want to really dive deep into the practice itself, and its potential to help us create a brighter future.
There's one more layer I find really fascinating that I wanted to touch on. It's this concept of rhythm woven through the whole practice.
We did talk about it a little bit in the last part, but yeah, I'd love to hear more about what you mean by rhythm on that deeper level. I mean, it's a dance, so obviously rhythm is there.
Yeah.
But you're saying there's more to it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Think about it. The whole dance is synchronized to a specific rhythm, led by the caller's chants or the mantra. Each movement, each bend, each step, it's all timed so precisely. And then beyond that physical rhythm, you have the mental rhythm too, created by those affirmations, that constant repetition of those positive statements.
So it's not just about moving to a beat. It's about aligning your physical, mental, even spiritual rhythms.
Exactly. And that resonates with something so fundamental about being human. Our bodies, they have natural rhythms, our heartbeat, our breath, our sleep-wake cycles. And when we can tune into those rhythms, when we move in sync with them, that's when things get really interesting.
It's like we tap into this flow state.
Yes, where everything just feels aligned, effortless. And Kaoshikii, with its structure and intentional movements, it helps us get there.
It's like a tool to get us into that flow state.
Exactly. And it's crazy to think about how often we're out of sync with those natural rhythms in our modern lives. We're always rushing, multitasking, bombarded by a million things at once. No wonder we're all so stressed and burnt out.
Yeah, true. So you're saying Koshiki's what? An antidote to that?
In a way, yes. It's about slowing down, attuning to those inner rhythms, finding that balance that we've kind of lost touch with.
It's like hitting the reset button.
Exactly.
Wow.
A reset for our nervous systems, a way to bring ourselves back into harmony. And, as we cultivate that inner harmony, it has this ripple effect.
Yeah, it impacts everything. Our relationships, how we deal with challenges, even our relationship with the world around us.
Right. It's not just a personal practice. It's a practice for planetary well-being. When we're in rhythm with ourselves, we become more in tune with the rhythms of nature, the interconnectedness of, everything.
It's a beautiful thought.
And that awareness, it can inspire us to make better choices that support not just our own well-being, but the well-being of the planet too.
Because it's all connected, right? Our inner state with the outer world, our individual well-being with the well-being of the whole planet. And Kośikii, it gives us a way to actually experience that interconnectedness.
Exactly. To tap into that deeper sense of harmony. And, as we wrap up this deep dive, I think that's the main thing I want listeners to take away. That rhythm is essential. Whether it's the rhythm of our bodies, our minds, or the natural world, tuning into those rhythms, moving in sync with them, that's how we unlock our full potential. That's how we create a more harmonious future.
So Kośikii is like a guide, a tool to help us tap into that rhythm.
I think so, yeah. With its movements and affirmations and the chanting, it's like a dance of inner expansion, a practice for individual and collective well-being. It's this reminder that even when everything feels chaotic, we can always find our rhythm, our balance, our way back to, wholeness.
Beautifully said. And who knows, maybe Kaoshikii, this ancient yet futuristic practice, maybe it'll spark a global movement, a wave of like rhythmic harmony, transforming the world, one dance step at a time.
I'd love to see that.
So to all our listeners out there, if you're feeling out of sync, if you're, yearning for that deeper connection, I encourage you to check out Kaoshikii. You might just find that the rhythm you've been searching for has been within you all along. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the fascinating world of Kaoshikii.